What's up, guys? Welcome to Roensch Capital Charts. Today we're taking a look at Palantir stock, ticker symbol PLTR, on a variety of time frames in anticipation of the next trading day, Friday, March 1st. Alright guys, pretty decent day here for Palantir stock, up 66 cents a share, 2.7%. It is up in the after hours, just about another 11 cents. Listen, as always, I'd prefer, as a bull, to have the stock upside after hours than flat or down. But the truth is, volume in the after hours is always going to be extraordinarily low. Stocks are easy to move, so whether it's in your favor or going against your current sentiment, listen, take it with a grain of salt, but accept it because it is the real price. So let's take a look at this thing, starting with our kind of volume profile analysis ritual here on Palantir stock. So if you've been watching these videos for at least a couple of videos by now, you know exactly what we're looking for. If you're new here, please subscribe to the channel, jump aboard. I have a goal, trying to hit 3,000 subs by midnight tomorrow night, Friday night, Saturday morning, I suppose. It's a big goal, but I think we can hit it with your help. Not going to happen, though, without your guys' help. So climb aboard, happy to have you. But in case you're new here, what we're looking for is clear changes in volume that are out of context for that time of day, like on an average day, that correlate, the changes in volume, that correlate with obvious moves in stock price. So what's the most obvious move today? Well, I'm kind of looking at this fade downside. What bears are going to be looking for, bulls, just understand this, is going to be a substantial increase in volume that is kind of putting the volume around it to shame in an obvious way that correlates with that downside move. That would tell us, if that were the case, that, you know what, a big sample size of the market agreed that the stock in that moment, for whatever reason, belonged lower. Okay? But truthfully, we're not really seeing, I mean, do we see a slight increase in volume? But, I mean, listen, contextually speaking, for me, it's not enough to sit there and say that, oh yeah, for some reason, a big sample size of the market agreed that Palantir belonged lower. This is just, for me, typical movement in the market. Nothing I can pull out of there, sorry bears. But let's move on here and take a look at levels that I'm watching tomorrow as we're pulling away here from that 50-period moving average, specifically looking at the 30-minute chart to start. So you can see here that we have pulled away from the 50-period yesterday, last night. You guys remember, we were talking about how it would be a beautiful thing for bulls, at least on the 30-minute in particular, to see a reclaim of that 50-period moving average and a test and pull away. What did we see today? We saw a break upside through in pre-market nonetheless. So pre-market, when it happens, volume is going to be lower. So when that's the case, ideally, honestly, when we're looking at such a self-fulfilling prophecy psychological level, like a 50-period moving average that everybody uses, sure, it'd be great to see the stock just rip higher, but when it happens in pre-market, we see a break of a big level, I honestly prefer to see a retest so that the market can kind of get that doubt out of the way and a pull away. And we reclaim it in pre-market, fine, but it's like, well, I'd love to see a retest. We retest it, and on decent volume, it wasn't substantially low volume by any means, we bounce hard and pull away from that level. Bulls, that is a positive thing to see. So tomorrow, I would love to see this 50-period on the 30-minute chart continuing to get yanked upside, up closer and closer, as close as possible to 25 bucks a share. All right, bears, obviously, you'd like to see a crack down below 25 bucks a share. We'll get to that, heading back down toward that 50-period, if not cracking back below, moving down toward that 200-period moving average on the 30-minute to making the ultimate test of that. All right, let's move on to the 4-hour chart now. You can see here that we were talking last night that we would love to see the hold of that 50-period here on the 4-hour chart. We did. We bounced up out of that hole. Great thing to see. Not a lot else that I can pull out of the 4-hour aside from, obviously, I'd love to see a hold of that level, though understand that after today's move, that is going to be a little bit more of a volatile day, about 4.5% to the downside. So bears, to crack downside below that 50-period here on the 4-hour chart, you would require probably about a 5% downside day, which is likely to require at least some kind of catalyst. But bulls, again, any test of that, obviously we'd like to see a hold, but ideally we really just want to see the 50-period on the 4-hour start getting yanked upside, get some feet up underneath this move that we had today as quickly as possible. Understanding, though, that moving averages on the 4-hour and especially the daily, they take their time. The longer time frame it is, usually the longer it takes moving averages to start getting moved around. Now, the most important chart of all, and the most contextual of all, is always going to be the daily. It has the most eyeballs. Now, we've been talking about, I feel like we've been talking about this scenario for days now, if not a week or more on Palantir. Been covering this stock every single day. 25 bucks a share is the clear, obvious story here. Okay, because we reclaimed it today. That's what we've been talking about for the last at least couple of days in a serious manner. Reclaiming 25 bucks a share. We did it here. That's a beautiful thing. That's a huge psychological level. But we're not out of the woods. Like we've talked about, that 25.50, 25.55 region, really, I think more so like 26, is kind of the next thing in line. 25 is a great start. But that 25.50 region up toward 26 is likely to act as a psychological resistance, being that more recent high. So bulls, tomorrow, our ideal scenario, hold 25, bounce up out of that hole away from 25 to the upside on high volume as much as possible. I don't expect earnings style volume, but just not below average volume, okay? Just at least average, if not higher than average. Head up toward 25.50, make an honest test, and ideally crack above that and close above that on decent volume. That would be a beautiful day if you're a bull. Bears, 25.50 is your enemy. Ideally, your base case should be cracking back below 25, getting back down in $24 region or territory on, again, anything but below average volume. Average or above average volume would be great. Now, let's take a look at what the options bias was from options traders here today. And this, oh my goodness, this Palantir is a stock that just lately has been notorious. I mean, we've been tracking this every day, and it has always just been such an absurd bias in the chain. I don't know what the call buyers on Palantir, I don't know what they're on. This is crazy. 363,000 total contracts traded, 264,000 approximately calls, and less than 100,000 puts, 99.9K puts. Believe it or not, this has been normal in Palantir's options chain. Again, I don't know what's going on with the call buyers, but it has just been an absurd bias consistently. It's very normal for Palantir as of late. I mean, I gotta be honest with you guys, I don't expect this to last forever because it's just such a one-sided chain consistently, it seems like. But take a look at this. If we break it down by time frame, the 0 to 20 delta range, that's going to be on average the shortest term expiration. So I like to refer to that range as kind of like the short-term speculators. Again, leaning more than double to the call side compared to the put side. 74,000 calls, about 34,000 puts. And not only that, but on top of that, every single delta range. So you go, out of the money, at the money, in the money. Shorter term, more mid-term, more long-term on average. All of them leaning call heavy. Listen, if you got value out of this video, please subscribe to the channel. Again, I'd love to hit 3,000 subs by midnight tomorrow, Friday night, I guess Saturday morning. Climb aboard, and I'll do my best to continue to provide value every single day, and I'll see you tomorrow.